Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Capita Super DOA. It got a tiny tweak to the core for 2021. This board features Capita's Resort V1 camber profile, which is cambered to just past the inserts, then it's flat, and then there's a tiny little bit of reverse camber, aka rocker, right before the up kick in the tip and the tail. This is going to give you a little bit better area to load up and spring out of the nose and tail, as well as ease of entry in and out of turns. This board is available in 152, 154, 156, 158, 160, 155 wide, 158 wide, 161 wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain in the early season on a sunny bluebird day with slightly cooler temps, zero wind. There was firm snow, fast snow, chunder snow, death cookies, ice, fresh corduroy, kind of everything you get that time of the year. And I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. This board has a slightly stiffer than middle of the road freestyle flex to it, and you really only notice that when you're trying to press and play around on this board. Basically, you do have softer tip and tail, and then right before the insert pack it stiffens up to the middle with a little bit of torsional give to it. Overall, this board is fairly stable. You get a tiny little bit of chatter out in the tip, but it never really makes it past that 3D cutout in the tip and the tail. And in really rutted out terrain, it stays on top of everything. It doesn't get bucked around, it doesn't wash out, it just sort of crushes and plows over everything in its path. For what this board is, the pop and snap is very predictable of it. You've got to load that camber profile, and you've got that little flat spot before the reverse camber in the tip and the tail. So that creates a springboard and allows you to rebound when you do engage it. It takes a little bit more effort just to press in to load that camber to get it to rebound, but when you do, it gets the job done. You don't really have to worry about it. When it comes to jumps, I wish I could have hit something bigger, but at the time of the year there was nothing over 5 feet really. It rides the lip perfectly well. It uses that to throw itself. If you load up, you're going to get a little bit more spring. This board's really designed for every size jump from small all the way to mega booters, so don't hesitate hitting a jump with it at all. If you want to butter this board, you got to get your weight way out on the nose or the tail, right into those softer spots, right where that flat section is, and really press into it. Expect a lot of rebound, expect it to fight you, just expect this board to want to just push back on you. You want to keep your weight out over it. It's going to give you some fight. It's honestly not the best if you're trying to slow speed butter. You need to really be hauling ass and really press into it. And the same can be said about jibbing with it. This is one of those boards that if you're like a slope style jibber, you're going to be fine, which means you're using more speed, you're coming in, you're pressing a little bit harder, you're doing more basic tricks like nose press, tail press, board slide, stuff like that. When you get sideways on this board on a feature, it slightly cradles it, but it never really fully hugs it, so you're more or less just balancing as you get sideways on it. That's to be expected, especially with the center portion of this board being the stiffer part of it. Basically, speed, muscle, be prepared for rebound. That's all you really need to know with this board. When you get this board on edge, you have to know how to finesse it. You have to know what you're doing. You have to just be prepared for it. You're going to engage it off the front, and that's going to drive it into that turn. And then you have to understand when to steer it from the middle of the board through the back, and where to finesse your weight and how to keep it engaged. Because if you don't, you're going to just have a sloppy ass carve, to be honest with you. This is a board that the more speed and the more muscle you put into it, yeah, the better your carve's going to go. But if you're doing slower speeds and you're still trying to lay a trench, not going to happen. You're putting so much more work into it. This is a board that is great for people that are competent riders, but if you're buying this on the fact that it has the DOA name and you think that it's going to make you a better rider, you're not going to carve better with it. In that it's really ideal for mellow, elongated carves or tight, quick setup turns. Those deep, hard, aggressive carves, like I said, you've got to finesse them. You have to know what you're doing. You have to go into it fully engaged and prepared to know where to transition your weight, when to flex your ankles, how to drive your hip into everything, and get it to arc through the turn. So who's this board for? The high-end freestyle rider that wants all the bells and whistles, you know, the creme de la creme of technology in their board. Personally, I think this board should have its own name. It shouldn't have the DOA moniker associated with it. It sits somewhere between a Mercury and a black snowboard of death, in my opinion. While I don't love this snowboard, I don't hate it. It does some things very well, and it does some things very, very much in the realm of mediocre at best. I understand who this board is for, and that rider will probably fully enjoy it. I am not that rider. This is not the board for me, but I think it does a disservice by having the DOA name, like I've already said numerous times in this review. If you're one of those guys that needs a higher end board than like a DOA or a Mercury, but you're not ready to fully go to a black snowboard of death, then yes, this is where this comes in. Do I think there's better boards in the Capita line? Definitely. Oh, definitely. I'd rather ride a Mercury or a black snowboard of death than this any day of the week, but that's my personal takeaway on it. Comparable boards: the LibTech TRS, the Jones Ultra Mountain Twin, the Rosinal Jibsaw Elite. This has been my review of the Capita Super DOA. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you gonna buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really want to support us and just help us grow out what we're doing over here, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.